Warning, the following episode on the Nation Sports Show may cause long-suffering Dallas Cowboys fans to destroy everything in sight, just like the Philadelphia Eagles fans do on a regular basis when they win or lose. The statements from all of us here on the Sports Show are not opinions. They are facts, the cold, hard truth of reality. If you have somehow made it through all of tonight's episode, then you have made it further than the Cowboys have once again in the playoffs. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Our Nation Sports Show. Breaking news came down last week as Nick Saban shockingly announced his retirement as Alabama's longtime head coach. Who will replace the great Saban as Alabama's next head coach? Also, news came down last week in the NFL, as expected, after 24 years as Patriots head coach Bill Belichick has mutually agreed to leave the team and move on. Also, in the same week, Gerard Mayo was announced as Belichick's replacement as the new head coach in New England. Tonight, we also bring to you our recap of the first round of the NFL playoffs, Super Wild Card Weekend. Tonight, we also bring to you our predictions for the second round of the NFL playoffs, the Divisional Round. What four teams will advance the championship Sunday? Who are the next set of teams to be eliminated? It's showtime.
Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up.
From the good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go. First of all, I got to say that was the greatest intro ever in the history of this sports show. That was amazing. Bravo, bravo, bravo. What's up, everybody? It is a Tuesday, and you know what that means. It is our Nation Sports Show, and we are live. You wanted the best in the world of sports talk? You've got the best. Well, maybe. We'll see. But we are here, we are live. We thank you for joining us as always. I am Mr. Vickery, of course, and I'm here with my two cohorts, hopefully three soon. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We got a lot to talk about, of course, with the weekend of sports being what it is, with the great wild card round that we just had, and of course setting up for the divisional round coming up next. We got a lot to talk about, some shocking matchups, some shocking wins and losses. We got to get into, of course, the head coaching changes, both in the NFL and in college. And a few other news notes, of course, around the sports world that we can get into as well. But first, all the different ways you can interact with us, as always, and that is, of course, at Owen_Sports Show on Twitter, Facebook.com/OurNationSports Show, and Instagram.com/OurNationSports Show. Of course, don't forget to follow our crew at The Nation's Corner, at The Nation's Corner on Instagram and on the YouTube, and Nation's Corner on Twitter and Facebook as well at The Nation's Corner. Follow them there. You get all things professional wrestling. And boy, after this weekend with TNA Hard to Kill, 2 GCW shows, NWA, and of course Collision and all that this weekend, it's going to be a lot to talk about this coming Saturday. And of course, 1 week from this Saturday is the Royal Rumble. And of course, they're going to talk about that coming up and hopefully give their predictions on who will be the surprise entrants and who will win the Royal Rumble match. All that every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. YouTube.com/Nation's Corner. And you can join the hosts, which are usually Deb Housen, Tony Justice, Front Row, and Mongrovian Mike, along with appearances sometimes by, of course, R.A. Davis, John of South Jersey, me, Steven, etc., etc. And of course, follow follow Too Sweet Cosplay at Too Sweet Cosplay across all socials as we get prepared to head into the return of Comic-Con season. And we'll let you know when our first appearances will be and let you know where you can find us. Of course, heading into WrestleMania, there's going to be a lot of things to do, especially afterwards with the Comic-Con scene. So we'll let you know when things are officially pen is put to paper, let's say. But enough of me yakking and spieling and trying to wheel and deal. Let's get to everybody here. I'm sure our boy KR, Kevin Rory, will join us soon. But right now, we got with us the three-headed monster here. And we start off with our boy, who is unfortunately reeling from the loss of his head coach this week. But he knows that the team will bounce back better than ever. And that is, of course, JT, Joey Thornton. What's going on, brother?
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. If you're like me, or if you're like all three of us in our respective states, most notably North Carolina and Illinois, I hope you're staying warm, because I'm telling you one thing, we are in the midst of a cold spell in both states. So I hope you guys are staying warm. Hope you're enjoying the playoff football. We're going to be getting into that in just a little bit. We're also going to be getting into some other stuff, including, yes, the sad story about Nick Saban retiring. Of course, we'll get into that in just a little bit, but enough of my shtick. Let's go.
Yes, we got a lot to get into, and of course, we can't do without the patriarch of this show, my heavy metal brother from North Carolina. A man whose love for his favorite team is more distant than the relationship between Axl Rose and the press. That is none other than Mr. Big Stevie Wyand. What's up, brother?
First of all, thank you very much for the kind words on the intro. Yes, I was thinking about this all day long yesterday, and it just so happens that Philadelphia took a big L in the playoffs, and why not include them too? Because that's why. And we're going to get to all of what happened in the wild card round from this past weekend, and also the news that broke while I was on the show last week, getting to give my thoughts on the wild card, on the playoffs coming up, and the news that Nick Saban's retired, and Bill Belichick is gone from the Patriots, and Gerard Mayo is now the new coach of the Patriots, and it just a lot went on. So with that being said, let's go, boys.
Absolutely. We got a lot to get into, and it's great to have you three here. Like I said, we're hoping that KR, Kevin Rory, will join us very, very soon once he is free from his parenting duties and whatever else may be going on. But of course, we'll have him on soon. Before we begin, though, I'd like to take this opportunity. I know it is a sports show, but we like to talk a little bit of music, wrestling, whatever it is, just maybe a minute or two. First off, we want to send a big congratulations to TNA Wrestling for a successful Hard to Kill this weekend. The rebirth of TNA, they are back. Good championship wins, the debut of Nick Nemeth, Ash by Elegance, just many, many different things going on. And of course, Nation's Corner will have that covered. But congratulations are in order to TNA on a successful rebirth, and I'm going to give a congratulations to Mustafa Ali on a successful return to the independents. He did 2 shows this past week, one in France, and then flew back and did GCW in Chicago in his home turf against the great Gringo Loco, his trainer. So it was an amazing weekend of bouts, many other things going on. Nation's Corner will have that covered. And also this week, tomorrow is a very kind of somber day in wrestling history as we remember the 1-year passing of the late great Jay Briscoe. So tonight on the sports show, we dedicate our show to the memory of one half of the greatest tag team in Ring of Honor history and one of the greatest tag teams of all time. with his brother Mark, and that being, of course, the Briscoes. So tonight, the show is for you, Jay. Reach for the sky, boy. But enough of this. Let's get going. We got a lot to get into, and let's get started, man. And of course, let's start off with what the biggest news in college football history, probably in a long time, and that is unfortunately that Nick Saban, after how many years it's been?
17 years.
After 17 years, has decided to call it a career. The man has had multiple college football championships. The guy is a legend in the world of college football. He is literally the standard bearer for Alabama Roll Tide coaching. Nobody else does it better than Mr. Nick Saban. There's very few who can make that claim. And it was shocking news to come out of to hear that he was going to step away after the season was over. But it's you know what? If this is true, and I mean obviously it's true, but if he decides to not come back and decides to walk away, period. Well, guess what? Well, all we can say is thank you for being the best head coach college football in a long time, and thank you for elevating Alabama to heights that I don't even think the school itself thought they would achieve, which was to be the best damn school in the entire college football world for so many years. You gotta think the past 10, 15 years. What are all those? What is the name that keeps popping up in every college football playoff bracket? Outside of Georgia, outside of Clemson, outside of maybe one or two others. What's the name? Alabama Roll Tide. That's exactly what that name is. And you know who's responsible for that? Nick fucking Saban. And I'm not an Alabama fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a college football fan, and I respect Nick Saban's contributions to not only the Roll Tide, but also to the whole college football world itself. So, and we want to say here on our Nation Sports Show, congratulations to Nick Saban on a healthy, great career. We hope you enjoy retirement, and thank you for elevating college football and, of course, the Alabama team itself. Joey, I know you can speak more on this, you being a fan of the Alabama Roll Tide since the beginning, so go ahead. Floor's yours.
201 wins, only 29 losses.
Insane.
In 17 seasons as Alabama football head coach. And keep in mind, 6 of his 29 losses came in his first year. 6. So that means, minus that first year, Nick Saban only lost 23 games in a 16-year stretch as Alabama head coach. Say what you want, people. That success will never be repeated. Never. It doesn't matter if you're Ryan Day from Ohio State. It doesn't matter if you're Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. It doesn't matter if you're Mac Brown from the UNC Tar Heels. Hell, it doesn't matter if you're Dabo Swinney from the Clemson Tigers or Kirby Smart from the Georgia Bulldogs. That success will never be repeated. Never. Nick Saban was, is, and always will be the GOAT of college football. Because Nick Saban had that confidence. He had that compassion. He had that dedication. He had that winning spirit instilled in him from the very beginning. I mean, Nick Saban, he has been an assistant or a head coach for, I believe they said it was over almost 30 consecutive years. Whether he was on the coaching staff at Kent State, whether he was on Michigan State, whether he was at LSU, whether he had his brief stint in the pros with the Miami Dolphins, and then, of course, the last 17 seasons being the head coach at the University of Alabama. Now, I remember whenever Nick Saban first took the head coaching job at the University of Alabama, Alabama was in the midst of a dismal stretch. they had losing records for the past, I believe it was 4 or 5 seasons. And everybody knew Nick Saban was a great coach, but nobody really expected him to turn Alabama into winners in such a short time span. Because after going 7-6 his first year, he got Alabama to a 12-1 record in 2008. And ever since then, Alabama has won at least 10 games in 16 straight seasons. So, yeah, Nick Saban's success will never be repeated. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's ever going to get matched. And people can say what they want about Nick Saban in Alabama. The fact of the matter is, Saban was the man. He was the man, hands down. Nick Saban is going to be missed. Now, if latest rumors are to be true, even though he won't be involved in the Alabama coaching facility, he's still going to be involved somewhat, because they're saying that he's going to be a sort of a special advisory role in the Alabama front office. So he may not have a say when it comes to making football plays, but he's still going to have a say when it comes to Alabama football. That is, if the latest rumors are true. And there's also rumors going around that he may be a regular analyst on ESPN's College Game Day on Saturday mornings in football during the football season. So, I mean, at this point, the sky is the limit for Coach Saban. And yes, he will be missed on that Alabama sideline. But I am liking what athletic director Greg Byrne did when it came to looking for the next head coach. Getting Mr. Kalen DeBoer to come from the University of Washington to be our next head coach. I mean, as soon as Kalen DeBoer canceled that interview with that Seattle radio on that Friday afternoon, rumors started swirling and circulating that he would be the next head coach for the University of Alabama. And as soon as he was named the head coach, he immediately went into a press conference and said, "It is a dream of mine to bestow upon the legacy and the honor of coaching for the Alabama Crimson Tide and succeeding the best college head coach of all time, Nick Saban." And the fact that he was able to bring in his offensive coordinator from Washington and Ryan Grubb, and just been reported a day or so ago that he was able to bring in South Alabama head coach Kane Womack as the defensive coordinator. So, do I think that Alabama is going to have the same success this year as they had the past few years? Maybe. It would be nice. But I'm keeping my head held high on Kalen DeBoer and his coaching staff. And I am just ready to see what he is going to do in his first year as succeeding as the Alabama head coach, succeeding Nick Saban. Now, last thing, he is going to have some big shoes to fill. I will tell you that. But there is no doubt in my mind that Kalen DeBoer knows how to win. So I hope he brings that legacy. I hope he brings that dedication. I hope he brings that commitment. And I hope he brings that winning spirit, just like Nick Saban did.
That is a great statement by you, Joey, about this organization and this, in this school and what Nick Saban has done, throughout his entire run with Alabama. And I'll add to this too. I mean, I think Alabama is in good hands. Now, I know Kevin posted a couple of days ago on our chat on Facebook saying that there were some kids that dropped out of going, transferring or getting recruited to Alabama because, Saban, when he was there, he was able to recruit some of the top athletes, that played at that school. I mean, Hightower and Tonga Viola. I mean, to name a few. I mean, just it's amazing, what, the Amari Cooper, and everybody that's played at that school, over the years on defense and offense, what he brought to that organization and brought, to that school. And he's going to be definitely missed, and it's really shocking considering he led everybody to believe that he was not going to quit, or he was not going to retire anytime soon because he just got Alabama punched into the playoffs, after they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. And Kevin sent that text message to me because it sent the text message to me while I was doing the show last Wednesday, and I could not believe it. Like, it was shocking, just stunning. I mean, he went out on top. I mean, despite losing to Michigan in the college football semifinals matchup, they were a player or two away from going back to the college football championship game. I mean, just unbelievable how it just seems like this was ripped out from all underneath us. I mean, just like we were not expecting this. And if that's the way Nick feels, hey, he's been doing this for a long time. He's been coaching for years. And if that's the way Saban feels, hey, more power to you. And you know what, Joey, like you added, the fact that they got Washington's head coach on this team now, considering he just took the Huskies to the championship game against the Wolverines, and it will be interesting to see what he can do with this school. And can he have the same success? I think he can. I think the sky's the limit for the Crimson Tide. I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Steven. It's going to be interesting to see how they play because obviously you're dealing with a coach, and the question is, coaches come in and each coach, has a different mentality, has a different play style. We see offensive-minded coaches, we see defensive-minded coaches, we see people who can do both. But I think there is going to be an adjustment period, but I also think that it's going to be pretty seamless. I expect Alabama to make a lot of noise this year again. Do I expect them to go all the way and win the title? No, I don't. But I do expect them to be back in the hunt, and I do expect them to make it super far. I don't know how far, but that's going to be up to interpretation. It's going to be up to how well the new head coach act and the new team gel together.
Now, I will say real quick before we move on to the next topic. Of course, me being an Alabama fan, there is one franchise that I will have the uttermost hate for. And yes, I know hate is a strong word, but yes, I will have the utmost hate for this franchise, and that is, of course, the Auburn Tigers. And the fact that I'm not sure who all it was or how many it was, but the fact of the matter is they showed the uttermost classless act I have ever seen when a bunch of Auburn students and a bunch of Auburn fans went to their spot known as Toomer's Corner and littered their trees with toilet paper shortly after Nick Saban announced his retirement. That is the most classless act I have ever seen from a college franchise.
By the way, classless act, great rock and roll band. Continue.
Yeah, but if I have just one thing to say to these Auburn fans, it's this statement right here. And yes, I'm gonna repeat this same exact statement that was told by my dad earlier when I was talking to him on the phone. If Auburn thinks that Nick Saban retiring leads to a toilet paper celebration, they might want to hold on to as much toilet paper as possible because they're going to be needing it for other purposes if they think that Alabama's going to go back to mediocrity just because Nick Saban retired. Plain and simple. Auburn is still going to suck year in and year out. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just thought I'd put that out there.
This just in: Tigers peg tree with toilet paper after Nick Saban retires. Said one report. Yeah, it shows what a big piece of shit they are by putting toilet paper on a tree.
Yeah.
Also breaking news. The Carolina Panthers have announced that they're going to sign Stephen Wyand to a 2-way contract.
And he has no emotion.
He's about as emotionless as Lance Storm cutting a promo.
If I could be serious for a minute.
But in all seriousness, man, we wish Nick Saban all the best. And you know what? If he wants to be a college football analyst, he wants to sit at home and enjoy retirement, drink a few beers, watch the game, gain a couple pounds, eat some good old fashioned Southern food. Be my guest, brother. All the best to you, Nick Saban.
Hey,
right.
as long as it doesn't turn out into White Goodman at the end of the dodgeball movie.
I hope not. And if they face Alabama, Nick Saban could be on the sidelines and look at the Alabama coach and be like, "Are you?" It's like, or no, the Miami guys can look at the Alabama guys and be like, "Are you ready for the hurricane?"
Oh.
The class we bring to the show, ladies and gentlemen, only provided by yours truly, Stephen Wyatt, Joe Thorne, Kevin Rory, and anybody else who decides to be on this sad sack shit of a show. But I digress. Anyways, we got a lot to get into. Of course, we got a little bit. I'm sure we got a little bit of NBA news. The one thing I do want to talk about, and it's a very poignant topic that needs to be discussed, and that is the what happened at the Ring of Honor ceremony for the Chicago Bulls. And that was when the fans it was after the day after the actual awards ceremony. And the wife of the widow of the late great Jerry Krause was shown on TV. Was shown on the screen as they recognized all the Ring of Honor players. Well, when they showed her on screen, the fans viciously booed because of issues the Bulls fans have had with Jerry Krause since 26 years ago. And so they booed her, and it looked like she was going to cry. I have a statement, and I'm going to make this short, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it because obviously we got a lot to get into. But those fans in attendance were the most disrespectful, unprofessional, reactive pieces of shit that I've ever met in my life. That I've ever seen in my life, excuse me. But this is the widow of somebody who's been gone. You can't leave well enough alone. You can't let go of the past. It was 26 years ago. Get over it. It's like people who boo fucking I don't know, name a player who's had maybe not a tumultuous past with fans. You look at a player, unless they've committed fucking murder or something, or robbed a bank or something, or did something horrible, then you should maybe then. But
I mean, look at players like Vince Carter and LeBron and Allen Iverson and just Donovan McNabb and and Derek Jeter, and all these different players, that have come and gone, from teams and and even if you are not on the team anymore and you're a manager, Derek Jeter is now a manager. He's been in management since he's retired. And and these different players that have come and gone, to games, they still get recognized they still get cheered for all their accomplishments.
Steven, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to say one more point, and then I'll let you take over the discussion. Is that you call yourself a fan and you do that, you're not a fan. You're a piece of shit. That woman lost her husband. You're going to boo her because of something that made you upset? Cry me a fucking river, okay? I'll pull a Jack Perry. Cry me a river. Get over it. Suck it up. It was years ago. I don't know why you guys are acting like that. You're not real fans. You want to sit there and boo that woman. It is so it angers me. Oh, and by the way, another thing that angers me is what I'm seeing, and I'm going to say this out right now, is the fat shaming I'm seeing on Twitter to women, especially women in the professional wrestling business. More specifically, Deonna Purrazzo. You better look at yourself in the fucking mirror and realize what you're doing. You better look at yourself and your own insecurities and your own weaknesses and realize why you say the things that you need to be. You're saying to these people. Deonna Purrazzo is a beautiful woman, is amazing. She can outstretch each and every one of you lazy motherfuckers sitting on a keyboard. So take that, shove it up your ass, why don't you? Fucking bullshit that we even have to talk about this because people don't know how to keep their mouth shut, keep their fingers off the keyboard, and freaking go ahead and just want to talk shit and fat shame people, especially women. It all started earlier last week with JD Drake saying he doesn't look like a wrestler and he's fat and lazy when he could fucking outmove half of the people talking. I dare you to go do the things he does for almost 300 pounds. I dare you. You make fun of Deonna Purrazzo because she's chunky, she's fat. She's not. She's a woman who's built differently, and guess what? That is fine. That is okay. You know why? Because she's one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet. It can fucking make you tap out quicker than when you were with your girlfriend in the bed last night. How about that? And I don't know why I'm even bringing this up right now when we're trying to do a sports show, but that triggered me.
But it just goes to show you. I mean, and it goes hand in hand.
Not only Bulls fans, but from the wrestling community in general. Fuck off, for real.
Exactly. And to everybody out there that is that is booing, I don't understand that. Like, just because Michael Jordan in '98 did not come back to the Bulls after they won the title, and just because that roster did not look the same, I understand in the moment, you're mad, because the franchise it's going to go down this long road of inconsistency and ups and downs and have bad times now. But like you said, that's 26 years ago. This man deserves all the praises that he is getting from the media, from the real fans in Chicago. And it's like I said, even players that have came in, whether they're on other teams or ex-players that are managers and they're coming into these games, they still get recognized for their achievement. Just because you're on the other team, they still get recognized. They still get cheered. They still get applaud for all their accomplishments. And I'm sorry, but the sad sack of fans in Chicago that were in that building that were booing that woman's husband, it was embarrassing as a sports fan to witness this because she looked very uncomfortable, looked distraught, upset. She probably didn't even know what to say, and I don't blame the players for shit talking to fans afterwards or even during the game. And Steve Kerr, Warriors head coach, said he was very disappointed, in the fans. The fans should be ashamed of themselves because at the end of the day, you should be honoring the man that helped you get 6 NBA championships in the 90s. He had a hand in all 6 of those NBA titles. He was just as responsible as the head coaches, as the athletic trainers, as the coaches that, the positions that these guys play. He is just as important to the championships that the Bulls had. If you're going to honor the late, great, Red Auerbach, for the Celtics, because Red had a hand in the first 16 Celtics championships. If you're gonna honor a manager, even when the Celtics were going through their bad times, Chicago fans should be doing the exact same, because not every franchise is roses and and all that stuff. Roses. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so great. Every franchise goes through its ups and downs in all four North American sports. Hell, even golfers, tennis players, you name it. Everybody goes through ups and downs when they're playing sports. You have your good days and you have your bad days. And it's just ridiculous how the city of Chicago in that building over the weekend reacted the way they did. If you want me to be honest with you, I think those fans should be banned for a little while, just to give them something to think about. Because by booing at that ceremony, honoring that woman's husband, the owner, the man who brought you 6 championships, you deserve to be punished for this act of just idiocy. It's ridiculous.
Okay, now that I've kind of stewed at that and gone up, now that that's all taken care of. In other news, Draymond Green has returned to the league after his suspension and played his first game. Of course, he got booed out of the building. What was the reason for? Was it because the fans are just tired of his shit? Or did he not kick somebody in the balls this evening and he didn't hit his quota? More news at 11. But it just depends on what you think. But I agree with you, Steven. But in reality, some other news that happened. It was announced today that the Clippers and Los Angeles will be hosting the 2026 All-Star Game. So congratulations to the city of LA. They get to host another All-Star Game. Kings coach Mike Brown has been fined $50,000 for aggressively pursuing a game official on January 14th. Maybe the game official feared for his life, a la Tony Khan.
Hey, Mike Brown was probably still pissed that he got ejected from that Kings loss to the Celtics a couple of nights ago.
Bingo. Also, other news. In other news, Darius Garland has finally resumed on-court activities after the wiring got removed from his formerly broken jaw.
Ooh.
Speaking of broken jaws, I want to check some NBA news real quick, but speaking of broken jaws, one who also didn't bring this up last week, that Chicago Blackhawks player, rookie Connor Bedard, unfortunately, will be out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken jaw. And it was just a game, literally the day after he was announced that he was going to be the youngest player named to the NHL All-Star Game in NHL history. But yeah, he was hit real hard and found out that his jaw had been broken. So he's going to be sitting at home eating soup through a straw, unfortunately. But all the best to Connor Bedard on that. Here we go. Let's see. Free agent Scottie Pippen Jr. has agreed on a two-year, two-way contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. Hey,
Haley's Memphis is getting a very small, tiny, minuscule bright spot in an already broken season.
Yep, definitely. At least he showed up there. At least he's going to show up there unlike Scotty did at the fucking Ring of Honor ceremony.
Yep.
Him and Michael both. Yeah, those two people didn't show up at that Ring of Honor ceremony in Chicago. Fucking Steve Kerr showed up at the Ring of Honor ceremony. He got in a day early himself just to make sure that he made it to the ceremony. the Bulls were playing the Warriors the next night or so. So you know what? Good for him.
Good for Steve that he made it that night. And
Because he's an integral part of the Bulls' championship history.
and obviously he remembered Krause. Because and he remembered all the good times that they had. And I'm not going to go on and do it again. It's ridiculous. Hell, if you want to go down that route again, I think Chicago should not be able to have the All-Star game for a little while just because of their fans. Idiots.
Yep.
Disrespecting Krause like that, all because you're pissed off because the team got dismantled, 26 years ago. Come on.
Yep. Idiot.
And see, and besides, real quick, if I'm not mistaken, after the '98 Bulls championship, it was Michael Jordan himself that decided to retire.
Yep.
Jerry Krause had nothing to do with it.
Nope. Jerry Krause did not have nothing to do with that. That was Michael saying, okay, I've won 6 titles with you guys. It's been a great run. I don't know how long I can do this. And he did step down, then he came back in 2001. So he was gone for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Bulls fans, Chicago Bulls fans are very passionate, and I get it. They're like the Knicks, they're like, the Celtics, the 76ers. Disrespecting Jerry Krause's name and legacy with this team was not the right thing to do.
No. Absolutely not. Other news: the Pistons and the Wizards finalized the deal to trade Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Livers, and 2 second-round picks for forwards Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala. So Detroit moves Bagley's contract, which is $12.5 million in 2024-2025, for 2 future second-round picks. Livers, who had $1.8 million, Gallinari $6.8 million, and Muscala $3.5 million, are all on expiring contracts. So, also on NBA, the NBA allowed LaMelo Ball to play without covering his tattoos previously. It's considered a violation of league rules, but apparently they let him do it. Weird. But I think that's pretty much the big news. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really don't have anything else. Oh, here we go. The NBA hit Toronto Raptors coach Darko Rajakovic with a $25,000 fine a couple days ago for publicly criticizing the officiating. I mean, whatever happened to freedom of speech, but,
Free speech is for the dumb.
Yeah. Oh, Kawhi Leonard signed a 3-year, $153 million contract extension with the Clippers. It also includes a 15% trade kicker.
Going back to what you said about the $25,000 fine for criticizing the officiating, let's see. I just got one statement to say about that. So, you're telling me that an NBA coach gets fined for criticizing officiating when it's officiating that has ruined the game of basketball and ruined the game of football as we know it. Interesting.
That's wild.
Officiating has ruined everything.
No, they haven't. Remember, sports is scripted.
Script writers have done it again.
Pro wrestling is real. Right. Pro wrestling is real. People are fake.
Yeah, right. People who believe that a penny can stick it where the sun don't shine.
Well, Mr. Kennedy sure did. That's why he put it on a t-shirt. It sold a ton of it on shoptna.com. I almost made Joey choke there, but then again, he's a Commanders fan. He's probably used to it.
Shut it.
Then again, Steven's Carolina Panthers don't have to worry about choking because they don't even make it to that point. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress. But speaking of, I mentioned Connor Bedard. There is actually. Let's go real quick before we get into that. Of course, we got to go into the NBA games for tonight. Right now, Denver and Philly are playing. Philly is up 16-15 with 6:44 left in the first. And then also tonight we got the Kings taking on the Suns, Thunder taking on the Clippers. Of course, on TNT, check your local listings. And like I was going to mention the NHL real quick because the games going on tonight include one of them is the Blackhawks. Right now, the games that are going on right now, we got the Capitals. We got the Capitals leading the Anaheim Ducks 1-0 at the end of the first. Senators and Avalanche are tied at 1 apiece. The Kraken are losing to the Rangers 2-1. And then later tonight, we got the Kings and the Stars, Islanders and Jets, Sharks and Blackhawks, Maple Leafs and Oilers, and the Coyotes and the Calgary Flames. All tonight. If you're in that area, check your local listings for whatever game you want, or if you have NHL Center Ice, watch whatever game you desire. All right, let's get into what we came here to talk about, and that is, of course, the NFL. And what a wild weekend it's been. And of course, we can't talk about the NFL. Let me guess, is it William in the chat?
Not yet. Surprisingly,
I thought that was what you were laughing about.
No, I'm just laughing at the Cowboys.
You know we're gonna get into that. You know we're gonna get into that in a second. But I definitely want to go over the biggest news, in my opinion, to come out. And that is after you mentioned it in the intro. After 24 seasons, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots have decided to part ways. This was a move that has been rumored since the beginning of this season, and with the Patriots unfortunately falling with not so good of a record this year, it's pretty much set in stone, done, game, set, match. Belichick would move on. Now, that doesn't mean that Belichick is done as a coach, because there are rumors going around that Bill Belichick is going to be interviewed for a head coaching job.
Yep, and he wrapped up an interview yesterday during the game with the Falcons.
Yes, he did. I was just about to bring that up.
Yep, so there's a lot of rumors swirling around, and he's going to be the next head coach, so we'll see what happens. But like I said, Bill Belichick, you got to look at that. 17 divisional titles. 6 Super Bowls. An incredible run as a head coach, coaching some of the greatest players to ever play the sport. I mean, you look at Rob Gronkowski. You look at Danny Amendola. You look at Wes Welker.
You look at Julian Edelman.
Randy Moss, a Hall of Famer.
Randy Moss, and of course, TB12 himself, touchdown Tom Brady.
And of course, his successor, Mr. Gerard Mayo.
Yep, and Gerard Mayo will officially become the new head coach of the New England Patriots, which is a pretty interesting move, and a move that had been rumored along with the departure of Bill, was that Gerard Mayo was going to be his successor.
And of course, you can't forget about other members of those badass New England Patriot defenses. Names like Rodney Harrison, names like Teddy Bruschi, heck, even former Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel.
Yep. Vince Wilfork.
Hightower.
Yep.
Like Kofi said one time.
Rob Nikovich.
Like what Kofi Kingston said one time when playing Madden, he said he made a joke saying, "Are you going to throw a ball over a high tower?"
I mean, it's amazing, like, over the years, the players that he's coached. I mean, even a Corey Dillon, when he went from the Bengals to the Patriots and then won the Super Bowl with them. Deion Branch and Troy Brown and David Patton during Brady's first year with the Patriots as a starter,
That's
and
right.
Adam
And you also
Vinatieri.
can't forget, yeah, and you also can't forget about especially one very high profile name, Mr. Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah. 1 game or 2 games. Ooh.
Uh,
But yeah, definitely it's
and
gonna
of
be.
course,
Yeah,
and of
go ahead.
course, Mr. Chad Ochocinco himself, Chad Johnson.
Yep.
Ah,
Good
But man,
times. Good times. He's given us great press conferences over the years, including my favorite one on the Cincinnati. That still is legendary.
yep, I agree.
But and Belichick, you could tell that in his final press conference with the Patriots, he was getting very choked up and emotional. Because for years he didn't let his guard down, in these press conferences. But just him reflecting on the years that he's had. It's been a hell of a ride. And again, like with Saban in Alabama, there's that common thread. I don't think it will be ever duplicated again.
oh no. Now, as long as he sticks to his next order of business, which is staying away from those 1-star rated Uber driver losers, we'll be okay. We'll get into that in just a minute.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we will. Other news to come out of the NFL was some news that came down today, and that is that six-time Pro Bowler, and future Hall of Famer, the brother of Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, has announced his retirement. He told his teammates in the locker room after Monday night's post-game stuff that he has decided he's going to hang up the cleats once and for all.
Another great player, hanging it up when he feels like he needs to. Won a Super Bowl. He's been to another Super Bowl, obviously last season, and just a great player. And that's going to be a hard void to fill because he was just as important in their success.
I mean, he had hinted.
He's just as important in his position as his brother is to the Kansas City Chiefs in his position. Both guys were important in their own ways because Jason being a bigger guy, in his position, he held that team down, man. He helped. Man, when it came down to it, you faced that defensive line, man. Guess what? It's gonna be hard to get past Jason Kelce.
Yeah, I would say that other than his on the field skill set, Jason Kelce was a great center. He was a great lineman. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And I will say that his brother is also a great on the field talent. But if I were to mention his biggest achievement up to this point, we'd be on the show for about an hour and a half over the limit. So I might as well not even bring it up.
Well, is it going to be forever? Or is it going to go down in flames? If you could tell me when it's over if the high was worth the pain. I could not resist that one.
Yeah, you couldn't resist on that one.
Nope, I'm the fish that bit the worm on that one. Oh, and going back to NHL real quick, I know I keep jumping around here, but I want to throw out a big congratulations to Marc-Andre Fleury. He passed Patrick Roy for the second most career goaltender wins in NHL history.
Wow.
Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. So congratulations to Marc-Andre Fleury. Let's
And of course, you can't forget about the other big piece of news that broke first of last week, and that were actually just after the show went off the air last week, Pete Carroll stepping down as Seattle Seahawks head coach.
That's right. Yes, Pete Carroll is stepping down. However, he is planning to remain with the organization, just not in a head coaching role.
Yeah, he's going to be a special advisor.
Yep. Now going to Adam Schefter's Twitter. Steven's favorite team interviewed Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith today for their head coaching job.
Oh, look, another guy to add this team to the dumpster fire with.
Oh, no. That's not the biggest news. As a matter of fact, the biggest news hasn't even been reported yet, and that is the fact that the Panthers are also looking to interview, of all people, Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn for their head coach.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding.
Thank you, Tree, for that laughter on Sunday with the Cowboys video. It was great. Anyways, speaking of laughing hysterically for the next couple of seconds I just did, are you kidding me? I mean, Dan Quinn, not Campbell. He's actually a good Dan, not a bad Dan. Dan Quinn sucks. He is the epitome of choke artist. Are
As
you
a matter
kidding?
of fact, this is just confirming Panthers reportedly interviewing Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn on Wednesday. So tomorrow.
Oh, you know what? I just for the sake of chaos enjoyment, I hope Dan Quinn gets the job in Carolina so he can wreak another NFC South team. I mean, I was walking down the hallways the other day after getting a couple of drinks the other night. Just during the game, just laughing my ass off at the Cowboys, and just it was hilarious. I mean, and Mike Golick during the Westwood One broadcast said, "Are we sure that Dan Quinn's going to be interviewed after this? Because this was awful. We're going to get to that, but Dan Quinn as the coach, possible candidate for the Carolina Panthers." Oh, your stay at football hell is permanent, Carolina, if you hire this guy.
Yes, and not to mention that if Dallas is to fire head coach Mike McCarthy, they're saying that Dan Quinn is going to be the top target to replace him as head coach.
Who made that decision? Jerry Jones? I got it, guys. I got it. My gosh, I got it. Let's fire Mike McCarthy, who couldn't do jack shit with us for the last 3 years. And I got it, y'all. Let's get Dan Quinn, the guy who single-handedly choked the Falcons against the Patriots in the Super Bowl 28-3. Let's do it.
Time out here. Was that supposed to be an impression of Jerry Jones, or you being Austin Idol again?
I don't know. Well, if you want that, Ezra, I'll tell you what. Oh, Jerry Jones don't know what the hell he's talking about. Well, what he could do is send one of his football players to my wrestling school. $2,000 or $3,000 down deposit on my wrestling school to teach you guys how to tackle, how to hit, how to properly play defense. Only in wrestling.
Only in wrestling.
Absolutely. Moving on to the other insane chaos that
please, Dan Quinn, get hired by Carolina, please. Please.
Let's see. Other news that came out today is that the Bills have released Leonard Fournette from their practice squad.
Wow.
His downfall continues. Chargers completed the interview today with Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan for their head coaching job. Tua Tagovailoa's brother, Taulio, has announced that he is his waiver for an additional year of eligibility has been denied, which means he's going to the NFL.
Yep, he's coming to the NFL.
Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris is scheduled to have Zoom interviews this week so far with the Panthers, Commanders, and the Seahawks.
2 out of 3 shit teams. Okay.
Hey, watch it, buddy. That's your team you're talking about as well.
Nope. I laugh at chaos.
I'm not even saying it. Leaving that one to myself. Hey, Baker Mayfield made coin. Because of the win over the Eagles, he garnered $250,000 extra dollars.
There you go.
And if he beats Detroit this Sunday, he'll garner an extra $250,000.
There you go. Not bad. $500,000.
Yeah, not bad for somebody who used to be called trash.
Because he used to
Not
play
bad.
for trash. Now he plays for something decent.
For once.
Yep. Man, there's so much going on. Oh, the Commanders has as their new general manager, Adam Peters.
Yes, sir.
Finally.
Yes, sir. I'm loving what Adam Peters said during the press conference earlier today. Oh boy. And the fact that we have 9 overall selections in the NFL draft in April as of right now, including 6 picks out of the first 102 selections, and the fact that we have the highest cap space available right now. As of right now, the sky's the limit, and I'm excited.
Yep. Also, the Chargers interviewed one other big name. That is, of course, the newly minted champion head coach, Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
Oh, good, good. So the Chargers are going to hire a cheater. Very nice.
Ah! I knew Joey would be bitter about that.
Chargers are going to, they interviewed a cheater.
That's the
Nice.
only way the Cowboys are going to have any success if they got him, because he'll cheat to win the games.
Oh, Jesus. Don't even go there.
At least I ain't the staff for the Houston Astros.
Oof.
Oof. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to take a small little leapfrog to Major League Baseball for just a second.
Okay.
News has been reported that after, of course, announcing his retirement as the Houston Astros manager, Dusty Baker is returning to the San Francisco Giants in an advisory role in the front office.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. I'm a Borat. I like you. King of the castle. King of the castle. Let's talk about this from this weekend's game. Tyler Higbee tore his ACL and that brutal low hit that he took from Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Let me just pull up Kevin's quote that he was talking about in the chat. He said, his words, not mine, everybody who wants to cry about that hit are idiots. Like Richard Sherman said, the league and their stupid-ass safety rules are the cause of the low hit. If he hits high, it's a 15-yard penalty and a fine from his pocket. So he hit low to avoid that. It's impossible to play defense now in the NFL. You either get money taken from your pockets or you're labeled as a dirty player because of a low hit. And honestly, he's telling the truth.
He's right. He's right.
He's telling the truth.
All right. He's not wrong, no. Let's see here. I really don't have anything else that's really too significant. But let's go ahead and
I got a little bit of something here. I'm not sure if we ever talked about this, but I happened to come across this a couple of weeks ago.
what you got?
And I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame finalists have been announced for 2024.
Oh.
Are these the ones that are actually getting inducted, or are these the ones that are or is there still one more process to go through?
I think These are the ones that are in the finalists. I'm not sure who all's going to get inducted, but these are just finalists right now. But
Okay.
but this is a pretty huge list right here. Check these names out. Wide receiver Reggie Wayne. Wide receiver Torrey Holt. Andre Johnson. Devin Hester.
One of the best kick returners in NFL history.
Yes. Former defensive end from the Minnesota Vikings, Jared Allen.
Ooh.
Cornerback, Rodney Harrison.
Nice.
Safety, Darren Woodson. Tight end, Antonio Gates.
Oh, he's going
known
in.
as one of the best. Known as one of the best tight ends to ever play the game of football. Defensive end, Julius Peppers. Running back, Fred Taylor. Linebacker, Dwight Freeney. And, of course, a name that all San Francisco 49er fans can register with, linebacker, Patrick Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you mention Darren Woodson?
Yeah, Darren Woodson, yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
But, yeah, what a list, though.
Yep. Very huge list. So great players there. But moving on real quick, let's go ahead and move to the let's talk about the games from this past week since we're past the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and talk about that. And what a crazy wild card weekend. And it started off on Friday with the Texans blowing out the Cleveland Browns 45-14. CJ Stroud, I believe, had 4 touchdowns, and the
3.
defense was it 3?
Yeah, it was 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, 3 touchdowns, 274 on 16 and 21.
Pretty sure it was 3. Let me just verify.
2 defensive touchdowns. Thanks to 2 back-to-back pick sixes from Joe Flacco, and a touchdown from Devin Singletary. Nico Collins had 6 catches for 96 yards, and then Brevin Jordan had only 1 catch, but for 76 yards, including a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3 touchdowns from CJ Stroud.
All right.
But still. And the fact of the matter is that, yes, even though they had those 2 defensive scores, how the Texans were able to put up 45 points in only 24 minutes of game possession time is unreal.
And that first half was very entertaining. It was just back and forth, these 2 teams win. And then in that second half, Houston just poured it on. I mean, Stroud, along with that defense, just locked down on this Cleveland's offense, and Stroud and company on offense really took it to this Cleveland's defense. And everybody was touting the Browns defense as one of the best, and they were one of the best defensive units in the league this season. But they got carved up by this rookie who's not even playing like a rookie.
Yeah, that Texans offense altogether, they made that Cleveland dog pound defense look like little ankle biting puppies.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
What a war that was, man. Let me tell you. CJ Stroud, if he does not win Rookie of the Year after this performance, then the NFL is all sorts of fucked up.
Absolutely. And if the Coach of the Year does not come down to D'Amico Ryans and Dan Campbell, which we'll get to Dan Campbell in just a minute, but yeah. If it doesn't come down to those 2, the NFL is rigged.
Yeah. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins 26-7. Finally,
Miami can't play in cold weather to save their life.
Nope. Yep. Tua Tagovailoa, I believe, is now 5-0 or 6-0 in games below 45 degrees. Or he's 0-6. He's like 0-5 or 0-6 in games under 45 degrees. So
Yeah, but now the Dolphins have lost, 11 or 12 games in a row in which they play in environments under 40 degrees?
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes had a pretty good game, 262, only 1 touchdown. So
Yes, and the thing, he had to partially crack his helmet in order to play a good game for once.
Yep.
And you could hear the crack really good too. Like it was so cold in that stadium. Like the quarterback's cadences was coming through really clear and all of that stuff. And even the broadcasters on the broadcast, acknowledged that as well because you could hear everything because it was so cold.
You saw somebody with their beer in their hand, and the beer was frothing at the top, but it was frozen.
Mm-hmm.
That's how cold it was inside of Arrowhead Stadium.
-4 degrees at kickoff.
Yeah, they can have that shit.
Yeah, let's skip the first Sunday game for right now and move on and go on to the next one.
Oh yeah, let's go on to the Rams and the Lions. 24-23. What a war.
What an all-out war between two historic franchises.
Hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Listen to me, Pats, man. Matthew Stafford in his return. 25 of 36, 367, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Pretty impressive game for Matt Stafford. And then Jared Goff, 22 of 27, 277, only 1 touchdown, no interceptions. But the rushing game helped bring it forward. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs with a touchdown each. 7 catches for 110 for Amari St. Brown. So another big game for Amari St. Brown.
Absolutely. And even though it was in a losing effort, you got to give credit to Puka Nacua. I mean, 9 receptions for a playoff record for a rookie, 181 yards receiving. Have mercy.
Also, shockingly, Sam Laporta played that game too after dealing with that knee injury from the previous game. He came in, 3 catches for 14 yards, including scoring a touchdown. So
that's right.
So very close.
Absolutely great game.
A lot closer than I would have gave it, but that's the great thing about this.
And now the Detroit fans are in high hopes. Jared Goff leading into a playoff win for the first time since 1991.
Absolutely. Back then, a ticket for the playoff game was averaged at $30 a ticket.
And what's so amazing about that game on Sunday is there was a fan that was at the 1957 Lions championship victory. And fast forward all these years later, 89 years old, and he was there on Sunday at Ford Field along with that packed rabid house of Detroit fans. Wow. And
are you sure that wasn't Elder?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't Elder. I'm pretty sure it was not Elder. Love you, Mike. But it's just
Elder was stuck in the Mesozoic era. What are you talking about, Ezra?
It's really fascinating, with this game because
his roaring 20s are when he was fighting the Lions at the Roman Coliseum.
Hey.
Okay, let's stop here. Let's stop here. I've already got enough of a target on myself. Let's go ahead and move forward.
But it's amazing when you look at this game and how just the pacing of this game. It was a really well played game by both teams. And can I just say real quick that Puka Nacua is just amazing. I mean, he had a great rookie season, and Matthew Stafford has found that second favorite target behind Cooper Kupp. And honestly, I think Nacua might be his favorite target now because he targeted him a lot during that game against the Lions, and he had an outstanding performance. And what was really amazing about this game is even when the Rams were making plays and Detroit got the ball, And it just goes to show you that Dan Campbell, he trusts Jared Goff to make that throw in crunch time. They could have ran the ball a couple of times, made it 3rd and long, and try to throw the ball to get the first down. He said, no, I'm going for it. I'm going for the jugular. I'm going for the first down. Got it. First down to Amon St. Brown. 11 yards later, first down and 3 kneel downs. And Detroit, for the first time since 91, 32 years ago, had won a playoff game. And there were all the fans in that stadium that have been with them at their last playoff game, probably, and obviously fans that didn't even exist that were at this game. There were a lot of people in that stadium were crying, tears of joy. Dan Campbell himself, off the adrenaline, the sound of the crowd, when that crowd roared when Goff took that knee, he was crying, tears of joy. And I could not be more happy for the city of Detroit and their fans and all of the ups and downs that they have had. I mean, going from the team that was a laughing stock for years, a team that was 0-16 in 2008, what they have accomplished, it is amazing, an amazing feat. And I'm pulling for Detroit to make it to the championship game.
Great game. Mad respect for Coach Dan Campbell. Mad respect for Coach Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
I'm loving what he is doing up there in the Motor City, and I wish him many, many years of success up in Detroit.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, man. All right.
Hey, what's up, William? Unlike the Cowboys, you actually showed up.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on to Monday's games real quick, because we're saving the best one for last.
Absolutely. And that is Bills and the Steelers. Bills won 31-17 in a very snowy Highmark Stadium.
Yep.
What an unbelievable. Of course, this game was moved to Monday due to the raging winter snow that's been affecting a lot of the country here, more specifically their area, where they were under a statewide travel ban, or at least the travel ban in Erie County where the stadium is located. So, crazy week for that to happen. But still, Buffalo came out. They were in their element. They came in there and they beat the Steelers and sent them home. And then, of course, the Tampa Bay Bucks eliminated the Philadelphia Eagles 32-9.
We all said it last week on the show. It would not surprise us if Tampa Bay beat Philadelphia.
And even in my prediction, I said, even though I did pick Philadelphia in the end to win a close one, I said, in retrospect, it wouldn't surprise me if Philly lost. And they did. I mean, this team, for the last month and a half, since that 42-19 ass whipping by San Francisco, that entire Philadelphia organization has been brought to its knees, down to its core. And whatever was left of this Super Bowl runner-up team from this past season was destroyed in that one game. And little bit by little bit, Nick Sirianni and that entire Philadelphia team, including Matt Patricia, the culprit of a defensive coordinator, one of the most awful decisions any organization, let alone a Super Bowl contending team, has ever made, to panic and get rid of your other coordinator who stepped in after Jonathan Gannon took the job with Arizona. You panicked. You get Patricia, who was horrendous with Detroit before they got Campbell as their head coach. The only reason why Patricia was successful with the Patriots is because of Belichick. That is the only reason why he even survived as the defensive coordinator and won a couple of Super Bowl titles as defensive coordinator with the Patriots, was because of Belichick's genius coaching ways on defense. That being said, Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert, apparently it seemed last night, were annoyed, frustrated, aggravated, the whole 9 yards. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts a couple weeks ago. This team is broken down. Thank you, San Francisco, for cracking the shield of this Eagles team. Hell, the brotherly shove was stopped last night for the first time. Unbelievable. And this defense.
Actually, the second time because the Commanders stopped it once earlier in the year.
Well,
still,
they stopped it when it mattered. Let's just say that. They stopped it when it mattered. But that defense is horrible. I mean, James Bradbury was caught a couple of times whiffing on tackles. Their linebackers can't tackle. Their safeties can't cover. Their defensive front can't even get to a quarterback, let alone Baker Mayfield. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's a decent quarterback. He's pretty good. But they made him look like a hell of a top 5 quarterback. Over 300 yards of offense in that game. It was crazy. Mike Evans got open several times in this game. Made him pay. Other players on that team made them pay. And not surprised at all that Philadelphia is one and done. And I know we talked about it before. If the Eagles team, was to fall in the playoffs, do you fire, Nick Sirianni at first? No. I give him one more year, but that's his warning shot. If you fail as much as you did this year, next year, you're done. But as far as Matt Patricia is concerned, Matt Patricia has got to go. He's got to go.
Matt Patricia can fall down a well for all I care because he doesn't know how to coach defense if his life depended on it.
Yep. And all I got to say after this is, in the words of Tree on YouTube, die, Eagles, die.
All right.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the biggest disaster of them all.
Oh, man. Here's the messed up part. I missed this whole game because I had to work. But trust me, I did not miss the coverage between you guys and everybody else on social media.
This was beautiful. This was amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Christmas came early in January. Why is that? Because the Dallas Cowboys have once again exited stage left.
Yep. And the Dallas Cowboys did the one thing they do best. Choked. It's the one thing.
Oh my God. It was beautifully glorious. It was hilarious. It was to the point where Joey is calling me on the telephone in the middle when Green Bay is up in this game. I mean, it was hilarious. The interception, the pick six that Prescott threw in the first half. Okay, here we go. Ready, set, picked off, touchdown. 27-0. That entire stadium was stunned. And it was hideous. And we all knew that the impending doom of Philadelphia was coming just because it was slowly collapsing before us every single week. Losing 6 out of the last 7 games to Philadelphia. Dallas was a sudden, epic failure of a collapse. For the 8th time, the Dallas Cowboys are one and done. Another crazy statistic that came out of this weekend. And there's a full article that talks about the failures that the Cowboys have had since they last won the Super Bowl 29 years ago during the 95-96 season. I mean, 5-6, they were favorited. That is their record as favorites in the playoffs. 5-6. Prescott alone has 10 interceptions against Green Bay. Not against any other NFC East team in his division. Against the Packers alone. And on top of that, he is now 1-5 against Green Bay. 1-5. 2-5, obviously, in the postseason is Prescott. And it's 2 times they were the number 1 seed heading into the postseason, 07 and 2016. I mean, I could keep going on and on and on about this epic collapse of epic proportions by the Dallas Cowboys. I mean,
And real quick, Steven, what makes this even more amazing is the fact that Dallas came into this game with a 16-game home winning streak.
yup. And
The best record in all the NFL. But apparently, the word didn't get passed around to the Green Bay Packers because with this win on Sunday, the Packers are now 6-0 all time at AT&T Stadium, including the playoffs.
that is staggering numbers. And it is just and another stat that just that makes me just go wow in amazement. 3 times they've been favored, Dallas has, by 7.5 points or more, and they have lost the game. 2 times were in the last 3 seasons against the Niners and against the Packers on Sunday. I mean, it was laughable. It was hilarious. I mean, everybody on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere on social media, I got Cowboy fans on my newsfeed that are crying to get McCarthy the hell out of Big D. There were even Cowboys fans that were saying, you better be calling Belichick on the phone. I don't even know if Bill Belichick can save you. I mean, he's a hell of a coach, but I tell you who the main culprit of this whole disaster is, Jerry Jones.
Yes. So, with that being said, my final thing about this whole Dallas disaster, which is glorious for me and everybody else, is I got a trivia question. During or after the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Packers, all of Dallas's fans were reportedly doing what? A, destroying their TVs. B, crying their eyes out with a box of Kleenex. C, tearing every single piece of their Dallas memorabilia. Or D, all the above.
All the above.
Joey, I'll take D, all the above.
I'll take things Dallas State after
correct answer, sir.
I'll take things Dallas State after the playoff loss for 500, Alex.
Oh, Dak Prescott. Here we go. Ready, set, failure. I mean, CD Lamb in this game, shout outs to Kevin, he did not CD ball at all. He had several drops in this game that were awful. Prescott in this game was lucky on the stat sheet that he only threw 2 interceptions. If they didn't rule the defender down on the first interception, that would have been 2 pick sixes by Prescott. 2 pick sixes. Hell, he was lucky he didn't throw 4 or 5 of interceptions in this game because he was throwing these balls that were just in tight windows, and then there were passes he was throwing that weren't even close. I mean, the offensive line is also to blame in this loss, and just the running game was another main culprit on why they didn't make it further out of the playoffs. I wonder why. Not because you don't have Zeke there to be lining up under center as the center on the last play. No, that's not the problem. That was still stupid last year. But anyways, you don't have another running back that can share the running back duties with Tony Pollard. You literally have ran Tony Pollard into the ground. Literally. You have ran his talents into the turf at AT&T Stadium.
Yep.
I mean, it was hilarious.
Yes, and also one last point I want to bring up. Their star kicker for the year, Brandon Aubrey, didn't miss a field goal. didn't miss a single point all year, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs, doink.
Doink. And to add to that, what's also even more hilarious, they get called on the 2-point conversion for ineligible man downfield. And that's what caused Aubrey's doink. Karma. I love it. I absolutely love it. Because if Dallas wasn't going to lose in the first round, I thought they were going to go down in the second round to Detroit. And they're fortunate
They were going to go
they didn't
down
face
in the second round
Detroit.
to Detroit based upon this game.
Oh, because you know Detroit was licking their chops, hoping and praying to the football gods above that the Dallas Cowboys were going to beat the Packers. But no. How about no? The Cowboys pulled an instant classic choke
How
job
about no?
Oh, and one other thing, real quick before we move on, I'm willing to bet you, based upon how this Dallas team looked, if San Francisco would have been their opponents, oh God, I don't even want to bring up that nightmare of a disaster that we would have witnessed.
Hey, what's going on, Randy? How you doing, sir?
What's up, Randy?
And
Hey, Randy, how you doing? By the way, Tom Brady called. He wants to do things with you.
He wants to hang out.
And William is right about this in the chat. He said Jerry Jones is a dictator.
Well, he's a dick.
Jerry Jones is a freaking idiot.
Well, there is the
That's
word,
all.
there
That's
is
all
the
it is
word-
too.
There is the word dick and dictator, so there you go.
There you go.
You know, it's and not only that, but what's so glorious about the Eagles' sad collapse and the Cowboys' hilarious collapse is we can all contribute these two teams under one word: fraud.
Yep, just like Tree said in his video, I think Dallas has earned this statement on the count of 3. 1, 2, fraud.
Fraud. Oh, just absolutely hilarious. And Joey, when you called me on Sunday, I said right away, not even hesitating, I said, Joey, I hope that the Cowboys lose this game. Why? Because I got an idea for an intro. And boy, oh boy, did I come up with a masterpiece.
Oh, yes, you did.
And Cowboys fans, hey, if you have somehow made it through this live rendition here, watching this live, or if you somehow make it through on demand, congratulations, you have made it further than the Cowboys have once again in the playoffs.
Yep, and ever since Dak Prescott became the starting quarterback in 2016, whenever he got drafted, everybody thought that he was going to lead Dallas back to the promised land, how he was going to win MVP after MVP and just put up staggering numbers year in and year out. But, Steven, how many playoff games has Dak Prescott won?
2.
Actually, 1.
I thought it was 2 because I thought Dallas won. They won in the wild card round last year, and then they lost to San Francisco in the divisional round.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, 2 wins.
Yeah.
2 wins.
2.
In 7 years.
That is not good. And I know people have talked about how Prescott is a wonderful human being, but that does not mean nothing on the football field. Football field is supposed to be where the guys go on there and they become gladiators, where they go on there and they become winners, not losers. Losers are the Cowboys. This is hilarious because the media constantly, year after year after year, constantly says that Cowboys are America's team. They have one of the best teams. Oh, they can go to the Super Bowl. This is their best shot at going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, right. Again, another year of epic failure, of epic proportions. And it is just, it's amazing how every single time this happens to Dallas, delusional Cowboy fans and delusional media personalities continue to go back to this team. It's like they keep going back to that girlfriend or that ex of theirs, and they're so attracted to them. But in retrospect, they're a beautiful disaster waiting to happen, and that's what the Cowboys are. As Stephen A. once said on First Take, the Dallas Cowboys are a beautiful disaster waiting to happen. And come January time, it's time to lose, boys.
Yeah, well, here's the thing too. There's four things that are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, the Cowboys losing, Stephen A. being an annoying little bitch about it. So there you go. We'll take
There
that.
you go.
That's why I don't watch First Take anymore, because he'll rant the first whole fucking hour about the Cowboys, and it's like, ugh. Talk about it for 15 minutes and get it the hell over with. There you go. Simple as that.
Oh, that was hilarious. I mean, just the simple fact that Cowboy fans are constantly hoping and praying that, oh, yeah, this is finally our year. This is our year. Dak is MVP top candidate. Oh, 36 touchdowns Prescott had this year. He had an MVP calendar season. Yeah, right. He's not even going to get the MVP trophy now. And all season long, you had Cowboy fans that were saying that, oh, we are the best team. Your record doesn't mean nothing until you go into the playoffs and do it and you run it back. That's why when it's January time, that's when it's go time. Because one and done. That's it. You're done.
Yeah. So, all right. Moving on from that, let's move on to our predictions for this week. And that is, of course, the Divisional Round games.
And before we get going, I actually do have Kevin's scores.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Kevin sent you the scores?
He did.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Sweet.
right, sounds good. All right, sounds good. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's go to the first game, which of course, this is sponsored by Steven's favorite team, the Carolina Panthers. You want to win success? You want success? You want to go to win a championship? Well, don't look here. Look everywhere else. We are the Carolina Panthers.
Real quick, hello, Randy just posted in the chat. Even Sprocket knows that Antonio Pierce needs to be the Raiders head coach. Sprocket!
I agree. All right, first game, 3:30 Eastern on Saturday. It will be the Houston Texans going up against the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get things started off with this one. And I'm going to begin with a little statement. Given Lamar Jackson's recent history in the playoffs, history does not look good for Baltimore here.
Mm-hmm.
It does not look good. However, at the same time, this is the best defense that Baltimore has had since the early 2000s with Ray Lewis leading the defense. So I do think Houston is going to make this a competitive game. I hope they do at least. But I think Baltimore is going to do just enough to come out on top in this one. I'm going to go with a score of 27-19 Baltimore.
Ooh. I'm going to go with Kevin's score right here. He has the Ravens beating the Texans in a close one. Check this score out. 29-27.
Whoa. Okay.
I have Houston winning 28-23.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Upset special.
I think Houston's going to provide a little bit of an upset.
Man.
I'll see.
William is going with the Ravens 24-17. And he calls them the shitbirds.
I'm not surprised.
I'm going to go with the Ravens in a close one. I mean, this could go either way because on one hand, I want to pick Houston because I love the Texans, the fact that they're facing the Ravens, and this is a matchup you don't see happen very often. But with that being said, I think CJ Stroud is going to have yet another phenomenal game against Baltimore. They have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money, but I think that Baltimore is going to make enough plays to pull away with a close victory. I'm going to go with Baltimore by 4. I'm going to go Baltimore 28-24.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next game on the docket is. Hold on. My browser froze up for a second. All right. I got it. All right. Here we go. The next game is the Green Bay Packers going to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers.
I'm going to get this one started with Kevin's score. He's got the San Francisco 49ers beating Green Bay by the score of 34-21.
All right, I'm going to follow just about that same format. I'm going to go San Francisco over Green Bay 35-24.
Ooh, okay.
31-17, 49ers over the Packers.
I'm going to go with San Francisco to win, actually in a close one. I think they're going to pull away and beat Green Bay. I got San Francisco winning. Let's see. I'm going to go San Francisco. I'm going to go 34-27. No, scratch that. 34-28.
Okay.
And William has the Niners 31-24.
Ooh, nice score.
Nice
All
score.
right. That's it for Saturday's games. Sunday is the Tampa Bay Bucks versus Detroit Lions. And Ford Field in the 3-1-3.
I am going to go with Detroit in this one. I am loving the huge wave of momentum that Detroit is on. I do think Tampa Bay is going to make it a very competitive game. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go the Lions on a game-winning field goal, 27-24.
Nice.
Give me the Lions in this one, 34-27.
Kevin is going about that same pace. He's going to go with the Lions 30-24.
Okay.
And William is going with Detroit 33-20. Ooh, separation. I'm going to go with Detroit as well in a close one. I got the Lions winning 30-23 by a touchdown.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, next one. And the final game of the divisional rounds is going to be the Chiefs taking on Buffalo.
All right. I'm going to
And
go
mind
ahead
you,
and
it's
go
Mahomes'
first.
first road game in the playoffs.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and go first with this one.
All right.
Josh Allen is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. But he is 0-2 in the playoffs. So history does not look good for Buffalo here. But even though Kansas City was able to win in dominant fashion over a team that cannot play in the cold, they are, of course, playing a team now that has a lot of experience playing in the cold.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, the Chiefs have hosted 5 straight AFC Championship games. But this year will not be number 6. I am going with Buffalo to win this one in a shootout, 31-27.
I like Joey's thinking on this. I am going to go with a close game as well. I think that what's interesting about this game is we're going to finally get to see how Patrick Mahomes does on the road in a playoff environment. Because in 15 of his playoff games, he's either been at home or he's been in the Super Bowl. And obviously the Super Bowl does not count because that is neutral grounds. But him being on enemy territory against the Buffalo Bills in the same round that they had a epic epic playoff game. And not just an epic playoff game, one of the best played football games, period. And I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game just because you don't have the firepower that the Chiefs had a couple years ago.
So what you're saying, Steven, is that it's going to be close?
It's going to be close.
It doesn't matter if it's going to
I was hoping you were going to do that. With that being said, I'm going to go with Buffalo to get sweet revenge on the Chiefs at home. I'm going to go with Buffalo on a game-sealing interception on Mahomes driving in the end zone. I have Buffalo squeaking it out 27-23.
Wow.
In my opinion, Buffalo is going to be a nightmare dressed like a daydream. So I'm going to go with, yes, that is another reference to blank space.
Marvelous.
I got to give it to the Bills as well. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to give this one 27-24.
Williams got the Bills as well, 24-21. And Kevin is going against the grain. He's picking the Chiefs to beat the Bills in a close one, 27-21.
Okay.
Wow.
I like that.
I like it too.
All the contrary of opinion.
And I could see where Kevin goes with the Chiefs because the experience that the Chiefs have going, into the postseason with Mahomes, especially in the cold. That's where he has experience, and plus having that playoff medal that he has with 2 Super Bowls and those conference championship games. And it's interesting because if the Chiefs do win this game, they will host the conference championship game if the Ravens do not beat the Texans. If the Ravens beat the Texans, they host. If they lose, that leaves the door wide open for Buffalo or the Chiefs to host the conference title game. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? All I know is I'm ready for it.
Yep. Definitely, I am too. All right, some other news before we wrap up the show today, and that is some big news that just got dropped from the world of mixed martial arts. And that is that the UFC has announced that for UFC 300, I believe, yes, for UFC 300, 2 big fights have been announced. Jim Miller, the UFC legend in his division, in the lightweight division, will take on Bobby the King Green.
Nice.
And also, Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway will fight for the BMF title. The title made famous by Jorge Masvidal, also at UFC 300. That'll take place on April 13th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's going to be crazy. I mean, that's a milestone number for UFC, and they've had some incredible fights over the years, and some of these fights happening at the 300th edition of the UFC on pay-per-view. This will be another one for the ages.
Yep. Yep, definitely. All right. Anything else you guys want to get into before we roll out of here for today?
I think I'm clear.
Think I'm good.
All right. That's it. I don't have anything else really either. No other big news stories. Let's see. Joey, go ahead. Final thoughts.
All right. Well, amazing show with you guys. Awesome job talking about the disaster known as the Dallas Cowboys, as always. Yes. Amazing job of talking about on football, talk a little bit about basketball, a little bit about baseball, just every sport in general. It is a great time to be alive, especially if you're a sports fan. Thank you, Travis Tritt. But yeah, enjoy the divisional round action. Enjoy basketball wherever you are, and most importantly, stay warm because winter is here and it ain't going away anytime soon. Peace out.
All right, Joey, thank you very much. Steven, you know how to do it, my brother.
Yes, I do, unlike the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, and Dallas fans, if you have somehow made it through all of tonight's episode, again, you have made it further than the Cowboys did once again in the playoffs. And with that being said, thank you to my boys here on the show. Thank you to Randy and to William being in the chat. And we send our best wishes to our buddy Kevin Royer, who's been going through some issues, some health issues and stuff like that. And we send our prayers and thoughts up to him. And hopefully he'll be back on the show with us, hopefully very soon. And thank you for giving your scores into us tonight, buddy. And hopefully we'll have you back on the show here soon. And it's been an awesome show with you guys. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and also where we are live on YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and follow all of our live streams that happen throughout the week. And don't forget to hit that bell and get notified when we go live every week. And also, as well, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner. And if you have not checked it out already, do yourself a favor because TNA is back. Hard to Kill was a phenomenal pay-per-view on Saturday in Las Vegas, in Sin City. And just an incredible card from top to bottom, highlighted by the debut of Nick Nemeth at the end of the pay-per-view after Alex Shelley was dethroned of his world title in TNA. And just an incredible card. So glad that TNA's initials are back in professional wrestling. It's so cool. Finally being able to say once again, loud and proud TNA wrestling. And just an incredible card on Saturday. And so excited. Next Saturday on the 27th, you got the Royal Rumble happening in Florida. And obviously next week on Raw, it's going to be the face-off between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And that's going to be something. That's going to be crazy. Who the hell knows what's going to happen on that? But I know what's going to happen next week. We're going to be breaking down all the action for the Divisional Round into playoffs. So with that being said, Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Hang on real quick, Ezra, before you do give your final thoughts, I would like to let everybody know that we are in the development phase. So be on the lookout for this, but we are going to be expanding our social media. Yes, people, our Nation Sports Show will be going on TikTok itself. So be on the lookout. We are it's in the development phase right now, but we are going to be going on TikTok here in just a matter, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So be on the lookout. And also as well, I am looking to update all the social media platforms. That way everything across Facebook, Twitter, everything is the same. That way it's easy for you guys to find us everywhere we are. And it'll be a lot easier once we get all these credentials set in stone across all the social media platform boards and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be awesome having TikTok underneath the social media platform for all of us.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, thank you for the updates on that. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us as always. We appreciate it. We appreciate the likes and comments and everything in between. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff with your friends and family and everybody you know. If you're watching this live right now, thank you. If you're watching this on demand, we thank you. Yep, tune into the Nation's Corner. Follow Too Sweet Cosplay. Follow Nation's Corner. Follow us. And we got a wild week of wrestling coming up. And of course, this week, big week for AEW, big week for the development into the Rumble. So definitely check that out. Also, February 2nd, big announcement made. GCW, the Coldest Winter, Part 2. Matt Cardona versus Nick Nemeth. A match that's been teased since the Z True Long Island Story days with Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler. And now it will take place at the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles. Tickets are on sale now. If you're in the area, go to GCWwrestling.com. Go to their social media, and they have, or even just go to Eventbrite and type in Game Changer Wrestling, and you'll find it there. So check that out. Once again, Jay Briscoe, 1 year ago, we lost. Rest in peace to Jay Briscoe. Reach for the sky, boy. Top 5, dead or alive. All right, now with that being said, for Kevin Rory, for Randy Gyron, for Joey Thornton, and for Big Stevie Wyand, I am Mr. Vickery. We will see you next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next week with another great show. Same time, same YouTube channel. Have a great week, everybody.